Hello. 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 Let me see. Hope that this is coming much clearly. Sorry. Had to redo my testimony of who I am. My name is James Thomas. I was born in Cleveland, Ohio. I was raised in Youngstown. I went to high school around the Youngstown, Ohio area. I lived in Cincinnati for about 7 years, lived in Kentucky for about 3 years. Right now, I'm here, been here in Columbus going on 11 years. How did I became what the title, what it is? Before I was out there partying the world like most people do, going to bars and having different friends and having different acquaintances and things like that. And before I was called to have a relationship with God, years before that, I was born, I was baptized and born in the name of, go to the full baptism and receive the Spirit of God. And from there, it was going really fighting. I learned from there. That's where the battle really begins. And that it was going good at first, and I was just starting at the early steps of God. And when you get around people who are not saved, who's not been filled, and it could be friends, it could be family members, it could be a situation where you can fall into temptation. You can fall into temptation to the world as far as the atmosphere and the people you invite and entertain in your atmosphere. With me, that's what happened with me. And I like most people, I fell into sin and things like that. And I can only give from my testimony. And it felt so bad at one point that I couldn't really feel like I can ever go back and pray to God because of the circumstances I was in. God, you feel like you can't go back, and which is not true. Because years later, as I journeyed, God was leading me back to Him. And so when I finally got to Columbus, Ohio, that's when I ran into somebody. First, it started with a young man that he talked with me at the car wash, and he saw the light was over my head. He was seeing in the spirit that he saw that the light was getting dimmer and dimmer. And he encouraged me to go to church and find a local church because God is calling you to come to church. Basically he wants to reestablish relationship with you. And so first, when you first hear something like that, you kind of like, okay, I'll do it. And I didn't dismiss it. I didn't just write it off like it was just crazy or something like that. So the next level that I was going out there trying to find it, being on partial disability, I wanted to go find a little part-time job to make a little extra income meet. As I was going sign up for going on an auction and things like that, going up, I met a woman who was of God. And before she see me, God has already showed her who I was. And she saw in the spirit of the rejection and the pain, the generational curses that were over my life. And it was so bad that I was in so much pain and so much despair that the enemy, evil, was trying to take out. It was the spirit of death was over me. And it was a nick of my time, the right time for the right season. And there's a lot of wounds and old wounds and things that added on to the pain that you already in sin and that you carry with sin. I think that God is almost like a separatist when it comes to male and female sexes, as far as who should he send to and where she sent to. That was something that men set up. That was something God can send a man, or he can send a woman, vice versa, and he will let them know if they, and he guaranteed that they're gonna be all right. Spirit that they operate in, and God's a God of order. He's a God of just, so he knows who he's putting around when it comes to that. And this woman that has mentored me, I start seeing things in a different light. I start seeing the Bible come alive, all the scriptures in the name of Yeshua, Jesus, as we would say in the Christian world, a Jew, and as in the of course in the Hebrew would be Yeshua. I start seeing the Bible come alive, and so it really opened up my eyes. I start seeing people like I never seen things before. You see, actually, things that we don't pay attention. We see people that are hurt. We see a lot of people that are homeless. You see some people that are despair. But tell you, it really opens up your eyes when you see it in people's home, and you see it in people's how can I say this? You can see it in a jail or wherever. It could be on the streets or any place. And so this is what happened with me. And so I just went, as I walked along with a woman, I saw her pray over people. I saw miracles, I saw signs, and even things that I would see God move so fast over prayer. Just move. The atmosphere, set the atmosphere and everything. It was powerful. It was really, really powerful, ladies and gentlemen. And so, and me and her were just fellowship talking about the Lord all night long. And we would glorify God to the point that the atmosphere would just change. When you get that smog-like feeling, I don't know if you ever fasted and pray, and when you fasted, the atmosphere kind of lit up. It was like a smoke, like a smoky atmosphere. And so it was just, it really shocked me. It was really, um, sorry about the connection. It was really amazing because I would see these things happening, and I couldn't understand at the time. It's like, wow, what's going on? Why I keep seeing this smoke in the atmosphere? And that's when I found out that's His glory is the atmosphere, because she would pray, pray, and pray. And most people who pray set the atmosphere. Most people listen to a lot of worship music, sets the atmosphere, and it sets the atmosphere. And so that's how I come to know God in that sense. And we just go, and then my experiences have been in church. Now, a lot of people go to church for years and years and years, but they never had technically no experience in a way.